Hey, welcome back to Natural Word English. I'm Claire, and if you've been watching this channel for a while, you already know exactly what we do here. We don't hand you another list of tired textbook phrases. We hand you the real words that native speakers actually reach. For the moment, a conversation gets interesting. And we do it inside situations you're going to walk into this week. Not someday. This week. Here's my promise to you for the next hour and a half. By the time we're done, you're going to walk away with more than 60 genuinely advanced words and expressions. C1 to C2 level, and every single one of them is going to be wrapped inside a real conversation you can picture yourself having. A coffee shop, a team meeting, a phone call with a landlord, a catch-up with an old friend you haven't seen in years. These aren't decorative vocabulary words you memorize and forget by Thursday. These are tools. And tools only matter if you know exactly when to pick them up. So say this out loud right now, wherever you are. Say, I am ready to sound like myself, just smarter. Say it again if you skipped it the first time, because I promise you, the people who talk along with me instead of just listening are the ones who actually remember this stuff next week. Before we dive in, let me tell you why we teach vocabulary this way. Because it actually matters, and it'll only take me a minute. Your brain doesn't store words the way a dictionary does, as isolated entries with a neat definition attached. Your brain stores words the way it stores memories, tangled up with a place, a feeling, a person's face, the sound of their voice. That's why you can hear a song from 10 years ago and suddenly remember exactly where you were standing. Words work the same way. If I just tell you that elated means very happy, that fact will sit in your brain for about 4 minutes and then quietly disappear. But if I tell you that Claire felt elated when she opened the email and saw she got the job, and you picture that inbox, that heartbeat, that little gasp, now the word has a home. It's attached to a scene. And your brain is far better at remembering scenes than definitions. That's the whole method. Context first, definition second, practice third. Let's get into it. We're going to build this session around one big theme. Then. The everyday conversations that make up an ordinary week of your life, but told through language that sounds noticeably more fluent, more precise, and more natural than the beginner phrases most people get stuck using forever. Greetings and catching up. Talking about work. Talking about how you feel. Making plans. Handling a disagreement politely. Describing your surroundings. We're moving through all of it. Let's start exactly where every conversation starts, the greeting. Most learners get stuck at, I'm fine, thank you, and you? Forever. That sentence isn't wrong, but it's a dead end. It doesn't open a door, it closes one. So let's fix that today. Picture this. It's a Tuesday morning, a little overcast, and you're walking into your usual coffee shop. The bell, Over the door jingles. And there, right at the counter, is a coworker you haven't properly talked to in weeks. She turns, recognizes you, and her whole face lights up. She says, "Oh my gosh, it's so good to bump into you. It feels like it's been forever." Now here's your first word today, and it's a small one that instantly makes you sound more natural. Bump into. It means to meet someone by chance, without planning it. Native speakers use this constantly instead of the flat textbook phrase, meet by accident. Listen to the difference. I met her by accident at the store. Sounds like a police report. I bumped into her at the store. Sounds like a real person talking. Say it with me. Bump into. One more time. Feel the rhythm. I bumped into an old friend yesterday. You reply to your coworker, and here's where we upgrade your response. Instead of the flat, "I'm good," you say, "Honestly, I've been swamped, but I'm hanging in there." Swamped is your next word. It means completely overwhelmed with work or tasks, buried under them. A swamp is a wet, muddy area you can get physically stuck in, and English speakers borrowed that image beautifully for being stuck under too much work. Say it with me. Swamped. Try the full sentence. I've been absolutely swamped this week. And hanging in there means managing to cope, just barely staying okay during a difficult stretch without falling apart. It's humble, it's honest, and it's exactly what a real native speaker says when things are tough but not disastrous. Repeat it. Hanging in there. I know things are tough, but I'm hanging in there. Now notice something about that whole exchange. Nobody said one flat sentence and stopped. The conversation kept moving. Question led to answer, led to another question. That's what real fluency actually sounds like, and it's what we're building toward. Let's hear the full exchange one more time. And this time, I want you to actually say your character's lines out loud when I pause. Claire says, "Oh my gosh, it's so good to bump into you. It feels like it's been forever." Now you respond as her friend. Pause the video if you need to and say your line before I give you the sample answer. Ease. Here's a natural sample response. I know, right? Honestly, I've been swamped, but I'm hanging in there. How about you? How have things been treating you? Notice that last phrase, how have things been treating you? That's an upgraded way to ask how someone's life has been going. More textured than the flat. How are you? Say it with me. How have things been treating you? It carries a little more warmth, a little more curiosity. Let's keep this scene going a bit longer because I promised you longer dialogues today, not just two-line exchanges. Claire and her coworker sit down with their coffees. Claire, so what's new with you? Last I heard, you were thinking about switching departments. Coworker, oh, that actually fell through. My manager talked me out of it at the last minute. Claire, really? What changed her mind? Or I guess, what changed yours? Coworker, honestly, she made a pretty compelling case for staying. She pointed out that I'd basically be starting from scratch somewhere new. and I've put in too much time here to just walk away. Claire, that's fair. Sometimes the grass isn't actually greener. It just looks that way from a distance. Let's pull two more phrases out of that. Fell through means a plan that was expected to happen collapsed and didn't happen after all. You'll hear this constantly about deals, trips, plans. Say it. Fell through. My vacation plans fell through at the last minute. Made a compelling case means someone presented a very convincing, persuasive argument. Say it slowly. Compelling case. Now quickly, the way it flows in real speech. She made a compelling case. Let's pause here for a moment and work on how this actually sounds when native speakers say it fast, because reading the words on a page and hearing them fly by in real conversation are two very different experiences. And that gap is exactly what trips up even hard-working English learners. Listen carefully to this sentence read slowly. Word by word. What did you do today? Now listen to how it actually gets compressed in fast, casual speech. What'd do today? The words what did you blend together into something closer to what'd. This is called connected speech, and it happens constantly in natural English. Try it with me. Slow first. What did you do today? Now, fast. What'd do today? Here's another one. Slow. I am going to go. Fast, the way you'll hear it from almost every native speaker. I'm gonna go. Say the slow version with me. I am going to go. Now the natural, fast version, I'm gonna go. One more. And this one trips up a lot of learners because it involves sentence stress, not just connected sounds. In the question, what are you doing today? Notice how the words are and doing get extra emphasis, extra stress, while the other words get compressed and quieter. Native speakers don't say every word with equal weight. They lean into the words that carry the meaning. Try saying it with that stress pattern. What are you doing today? This matters enormously for your listening skills too, not just your speaking. Because if you're expecting to hear, what did you do today? Clearly and slowly, and instead your brain gets hit with what'd do today, you can freeze up, even if you know every single word in that sentence perfectly well in its slow form. So part of getting fluent isn't just learning new words. It's training your ear to recognize the words you already know. Dressed up in their fast, casual clothes, let's move into our second block now, and we're shifting the scene to work, because this is where a huge amount of your daily English happens. And it's also where beginner-level vocabulary makes you sound the least confident. Picture a Monday morning meeting, the kind where everyone's a little bit groggy, coffee in hand, and the manager walks in with a clipboard and a look that says there's a lot to cover. The manager begins, "Okay, everyone, thanks for being punctual. I know Mondays are rough, so let's dive right in and get through this efficiently." Punctual is our next word, meaning arriving exactly on time, not late. It's a much more precise, professional-sounding word than just saying, on time, and it shows up constantly in workplace English. Say it. Punctual. She's always punctual for meetings. The manager continues, first up, I want to address the elephant in the room. Our numbers dipped last quarter, and I think we need to have an honest conversation about why. The elephant in the room is a wonderful idiom, and it means an obvious problem or awkward topic that everyone notices, but nobody wants to bring up directly. Picture it literally. An actual elephant standing in a meeting room, impossible to ignore, and yet everyone's pretending not to see it. Say it. The elephant in the room. Let's address the elephant in the room. Someone at the table finally speaks up. I think part of the issue is that we've been spreading ourselves too thin. We took on 3 new clients last month without hiring anyone new. Spreading yourself too thin means trying to do too many things at once with not enough time or energy for any of them properly, similar to butter spread across too much bread, barely covering it. Say it. Spreading ourselves too thin. We've been spreading ourselves too thin lately. Let's slow down and build a longer back and forth exchange here, the kind with real give and take, because workplace disagreements are exactly where advanced vocabulary earns its keep-owl dollar. I hear you, but I don't think hiring is realistic right now given the budget. Employee, fair enough, but if we don't address the workload, I'm worried we're going to burn people out. Manager, that's a valid concern. What would you propose instead? Employee, maybe we scale back on new client intake for a month or two, just until the team catches its breath. Manager, I can get on board with that. Let's revisit it at next week's check-in and see where we stand. Let's pull the gold out of that exchange. Burn people out means to exhaust someone completely through overwork, to the point they feel drained and depleted. Say it. Burn out. I don't want the team to burn out. Scale back means to reduce something in size or amount, deliberately and strategically. Say it. Scale back. We need to scale back on spending. Get on board means to agree with an idea or plan and commit to supporting it. Picture literally stepping onto a ship, joining everyone else already sailing in the same direction. Say it. Get on board. I can get on board with that plan. Now, here's where I want you to actually practice switching roles, because listening is only half the job, and I want your mouth doing the work, not just your ears. I'm going to read the manager's line, and then I want you to pause and answer as the employee, out loud, in your own words, using at least one of the phrases we just learned. Ready? Manager, I hear you, but I don't think hiring is realistic right now given the budget. Pause the video now and give your own answer as the employee. Here's a sample response so you can compare it to what you came up with. You? That's fair, but if we keep spreading ourselves this thin, I really do think we'll burn people out by next quarter. Nice work. That's exactly the kind of thing a confident, fluent English speaker says in a real meeting. And now it's genuinely yours, not something you're translating in your head from your first language. Let's add a couple more essential work-related words before we move on. Before we move on, because I want this block to feel genuinely dense with usable vocabulary, not thin. Touch base means to make brief contact with someone, usually to check in or share a quick update. Say it. Touch base. Let's touch base again on Friday. Circle back means to return to a topic later after dealing with something else first. Say it. Circle back. We can circle back to that point after lunch. On the same page means everyone understands and agrees on something, sharing the same understanding. Say it. On the same page. I just want to make sure we're on the same page before we move forward. Let's build one more mini dialogue using these three together. Moving fast, the way a real conversation moves. Colleague. Hey, do you have 5 minutes to touch base about the Anderson project? You. Sure, though I do want to circle back to the budget question from yesterday too, if that's okay. Colleague. Absolutely. Let's just make sure we're on the same page before the client call this afternoon. Repeat that exchange with me. Slowly, one line at a time, feeling how naturally these phrases sit inside real sentences, not sounding forced or textbooky at all. Nice work getting through your first 2 blocks. Seriously, if you made it this far and you've been saying the words out loud with me, not just reading along silently, you're already doing You're already doing more active practice than most people manage in an entire week of passive listening. That's real progress. And I want you to actually notice it, because noticing progress is what keeps you coming back to practice tomorrow instead of giving up in 3 days. Let's move into our third block, and we're shifting now into the emotional register, because expressing how you genuinely feel with precision rather than just good or bad is one of the fastest ways to sound like a fluent, expressive speaker rather than someone still translating word for word. Picture this scene. It's evening, you've just gotten home, and your roommate looks up from the couch and asks how your day went. Instead of the flat, "It was good," here's what a fluent speaker might actually say. Honestly, I'm absolutely elated. I found out today that the promotion went through. We already touched on elated earlier, meaning extremely happy, joyful to the point of almost floating. Let's deepen it here with the full sentence rhythm. I'm elated. The promotion went through. Say it with me, feeling the stress fall on that second word. I'm allotted. Your roommate responds. That's incredible. You must be over the moon. Over the moon is another idiom for being extremely happy, delighted beyond the ordinary. Picture it, literally floating up past the moon with joy. Say it, over the moon. I'm over the moon about the news. But not every day ends with good news. So let's cover the other end of the emotional spectrum too, because a genuinely advanced speaker needs vocabulary for the hard days as much as the good ones. Imagine a different scene now. A friend calls you, clearly upset, and says, "I don't know what to do. I'm just so frustrated." I could scream. Everything that could go wrong today did. Frustrated, you probably already know, but let's push it further into more advanced territory. Your friend continues. Honestly, I feel completely drained, like I have absolutely nothing left in the tank. Nothing left in the tank is a wonderful image, comparing your energy to fuel in a car. And when the tank is empty, you simply cannot go any further. Say it. Nothing left in the tank. By the end of the week, I had nothing left in the tank. You respond with genuine warmth. That sounds exhausting. Do you want to vent about it? Or would you rather I just distract you with something else? Vent is a beautifully useful word, meaning to express strong feelings, usually frustration or anger, freely and openly, letting the pressure out like steam escaping through a vent. Say it. Vent. I just need to vent for a minute. Let's build a longer emotional support dialogue here, because this is exactly the kind of real, meaningful conversation that shows genuine fluency, not just vocabulary memorization. Friend. I'm just so frustrated I could scream. Everything that could go wrong today did. You. That sounds like an awful day. What happened? Friend. My presentation completely bombed. My train was delayed an hour, and then I got soaked walking home because I forgot my umbrella. You. Oh no, that's a lot all at once. Do you want to vent about it, or would you rather I just distract you with something else? Friend. Honestly, venting would help. I just need someone to hear me out. You. Of course. Go ahead. I'm listening. Let's pull one more phrase from that. Bombed here doesn't mean an actual explosion. It means something failed badly, went very poorly. Say it. Bombed. My presentation completely bombed today. And hear me out means to listen to someone fully and patiently, without interrupting or judging, until they've said everything they need to say. Say it. Hear me out. I just need someone to hear me out. Now let's practice the switch roles technique again, because I genuinely believe this is where fluency gets built. In your mouth, not just your ears. I'll read the friend's opening line, and you respond as the supportive friend out loud, using at least one phrase from this block. Friend. I'm just so frustrated I could scream. Everything that could go wrong today did. Pause now and give your own response before I share the sample. Here's a sample answer. Oh, that sounds like a nightmare of a day. Do you want to vent for a bit, or should I just try to take your mind off it? Let's add a phonetic note here too, because emotional language often carries strong intonation patterns that beginner speakers miss entirely. When you say, "That's incredible," the pitch of your voice should rise sharply on the stressed syllable and then fall, almost like a small musical arc. Flat, monotone delivery of an exciting sentence like that actually confuses native listeners. Because your words say excitement, but your voice says boredom, and the mismatch feels strange. Try it with real energy in your voice. That's incredible. Compare that to a sympathetic, softer line like, "That sounds exhausting." Here your pitch should drop gently and stay lower. Warmer, slower, matching the compassion in the words. Try it. That sounds exhausting, said slowly and gently, almost like a sigh of understanding. This is genuinely one of the biggest gaps between intermediate and advanced English speakers. Intermediate speakers often know the right words, but deliver them in a flat, uniform tone that doesn't match the emotional content. Advanced speakers let their voice actually carry the feeling. Practice matching your intonation to your meaning every single time you speak English this week. Even in small moments, and you'll notice people responding to you differently, more warmly, more naturally. We're building real momentum here. We're building real momentum here. Let's carry this energy straight into our next block, where we're going to tackle plans, invitations, and the art of gracefully saying no. All territory that trips learners up constantly because it requires real social nuance, not just vocabulary. Picture this. It's Thursday afternoon, and a friend texts you, then calls to follow up. Hey, a few of us are getting together Saturday night. Nothing fancy, just drinks and maybe some food. You free? Here's where beginner English gets stuck at a flat yes or no. Let's upgrade it. If you're free and excited, you might say, I'd love to. Count me in. Count me in is a warm, enthusiastic way of accepting an invitation, meaning include me. I'm participating. Say it. Count me in. Definitely. Count me in. But what if you actually can't make it? This is where a lot of learners freeze, because saying no politely, without sounding cold or rude, actually takes real skill. Here's a fluent way to decline. I'd love to, but I already have plans that night. Could we maybe grab lunch sometime instead? Notice the structure there. Express genuine interest first, then decline clearly. Then offer an alternative. That three-part structure is what makes a decline sound warm rather than dismissive. Let's practice the full phrase together. I'd love to, but I already have plans. Say it again, feeling the warmth in your voice even while saying no. I'd love to, but I already have plans. Let's build a full dialogue around this, going 4 to 6 lines deep, the way real invitation conversations actually unfold. Friend. Hey, a few of us are getting together Saturday night. Nothing fancy, just drinks and maybe some food. You free? You. Ooh, that sounds fun, but I'm actually swamped with a deadline this week. I don't think I'll be able to make it. Friend. No worries at all. I figured you might be busy. Rain check? You. Definitely rain check. Maybe next weekend instead? Friend, works for me. I'll text you once things settle down on my end. You. Perfect. Talk soon. Rain check is a fantastic idiom here, originally from baseball. When a game got canceled due to rain, spectators got a ticket, a rain check, allowing them to attend a future game instead. Now it simply means postponing an invitation to a later time. Say it. Rain check. Can I take a rain check on that? Now let's flip it. And I want you to actually generate your own response this time. I'll read the invitation, and you decide, live, whether you're accepting or declining, and respond out loud using either count me in or rain check naturally in your sentence. Hey, hey, a few of us are getting together. Night, nothing fancy, just drinks and maybe some food. You free? Pause now and answer out loud. In full sentences, great work. However, you answered, notice that you were actually thinking in English just now, not translating from your first language and back. That's a small but genuinely significant milestone, and it happens more and more the deeper we go into a session like this one. That's the end of this first part of our masterclass. In the next part, we're moving into travel English, Siffren, describing your surroundings using your senses, handling small talk with strangers, and then a proper shadowing and fast listening segment before we close out with our full fluency round. Type the number 1 when you're ready, and we'll pick up exactly where we left off. Let's move into travel English now, because this is one of the richest areas for advanced vocabulary, full of situations where precision genuinely matters, and where beginner phrases leave you sounding stiff and overly formal in moments that should feel relaxed and natural. Picture this scene. Scene, you've just landed after a long flight, and you're standing in the airport, slightly disoriented, trying to find your way to baggage claim. A stranger notices you glancing around and offers help. You look a little lost. Can I point you in the right direction? Let's take that phrase first. Point. Point someone in the right direction means to give someone guidance, to help them find their way, literally or figuratively. Say it. Point you in the right direction. Could you point me in the right direction? You respond, oh, that would be great. Thank you. I'm trying to find baggage claim, but I'm completely turned around. Turned around here doesn't mean physically spinning. It means disoriented, confused about direction or location. Say it. Turned around. I'm sorry. I'm a bit turned around. The stranger smiles and says, no worries at all. Happens to everyone. Just head down this corridor, take a left past the currency exchange, and you'll see the signs. Let's build this into a fuller exchange, the kind with real back and forth, because travel conversations with strangers often develop naturally into longer chats, especially when people are killing time waiting for a flight or a train. You. Excuse me. I'm trying to find baggage claim, but I'm completely turned around. Stranger. Oh, no worries. Happens to everyone here. The signage in this airport is honestly pretty confusing. Just head down this corridor, take a left past the currency exchange, and you'll see the signs. You. That's really helpful, thank you. Is this your first time coming through this airport too, or do you fly through here often? Stranger. Actually, I travel through here fairly regularly for work. It gets easier once you know the layout, trust me. You. That's reassuring. I've been dreading this layover. Everyone told me it was a nightmare to navigate. Stranger. It's honestly not that bad once you get your bearings. You'll be fine. Let's pull 2 more phrases from that exchange. Dreading means feeling anxious or fearful about something, upcoming, anticipating it with real discomfort. Say it. Dreading. I was dreading this trip for weeks. Get your bearings. Means to figure out where you are and orient yourself, especially in an unfamiliar place. It comes originally from navigation, from finding your compass direction. Say it. Get your bearings. It took me a while to get my bearings in the new city. Now, let's practice the switch roles technique here too, because travel small talk with strangers is exactly the kind of conversation many learners genuinely fear, and rehearsing it out loud now means you'll handle it with real confidence later. I'll read the stranger's line, and you respond out loud using at least one of today's phrases. You look a little lost. Can I point you in the right direction? Pause now and answer out loud before I give you the sample response. Here's a sample. Oh, that would be amazing, thank you. Honestly, I'm completely turned around. I think I've walked past this same coffee shop 3 times already. Etty. Let's move into a slightly different travel scenario now. Checking into a hotel after a long day of travel. Tired, a little frazzled, and needing to sound polite but efficient. Picture the front desk, warm lighting, a receptionist typing at a computer. Receptionist. Welcome. Do you have a reservation with us? You. Yes, it should be under my name. I booked about a month ago. Receptionist. Perfect. I've got you right here. Just so you know, we're fully booked tonight, so I've upgraded you to a room with a better view at no extra charge. You. Oh, wow. That's really generous. Thank you so much. Receptionist. Of course, happy to accommodate. Here are your keys. Breakfast runs from 7 to 10, and if you need anything at all during your stay, don't hesitate to reach out to the front desk. You. I really appreciate it. It's been a long day of travel, so I'm looking forward to just settling in. Let's take a few phrases from this exchange. Happy to accommodate is a polite, professional phrase meaning willing and glad to provide for someone's needs or requests. Say it. Happy to accommodate. We're happy to accommodate any special requests. Don't hesitate to reach out. Is a warm, professional way of inviting someone to contact you without feeling shy or worried about bothering you. Say it. Don't hesitate to reach out. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. And settling in means becoming comfortable and adjusted in a new place, gradually feeling at home. Say it. Settling in. I'm just looking forward to settling in. Now here's a phonetic segment. Because travel conversations often move quickly, and understanding fast native speech in real, noisy environments, like airports and train stations, is genuinely one of the hardest listening challenges you'll face. Let's slow down and rebuild a sentence you might actually hear announced over an airport speaker. Slow version, word by word. The gate for this flight has been changed to gate 22. Now listen to how quickly and casually that actually gets said in fast, connected speech with the words blurring together. The gate for this flight's been changed to gate 22. Notice has been compresses into something closer to S-been. Try it slowly first with me. The gate for this flight has been changed. Now try it fast, the way you'd actually hear it rushed through an announcement. The gate for this flight's been changed to gate 22. Here's another common one in travel contexts. Slow. Do you want to go to the gate now? Fast. Natural speech. Y'all want to go to the gate now? The words do you collapse into something closer to ya, and want to collapses into wanna. Say the slow version. Do you want to go to the gate now? Now, the fast, natural version. You want to go to the gate now? This kind of listening training matters enormously because in real travel situations, you often don't get the luxury of someone speaking slowly and clearly for your benefit. Announcements are rushed. Background noise is everywhere, and native speakers naturally compress their words without even realizing they're doing it. And the more your ear gets trained on these compressed, connected sounds, the less panic you'll feel in real situations, because your brain will start automatically recognizing the fast version as just another form of a word you already know. Let's shift now into something a little different and genuinely important for advanced fluency. Advanced fluency. Describing your surroundings using your senses. This is a technique that turns you from someone who simply answers questions into someone who paints a picture with language, and it's exactly the kind of skill that separates confident, expressive speakers from those who still sound a bit flat and mechanical. Here's how this works. Instead of just saying, "I'm at a cafe," a fluent speaker describes the scene using specific sensory vocabulary. Let's build this together, piece by piece. Picture yourself sitting in a cafe right now. What do you see? Maybe something like, "There's a warm golden light coming through the window, and the tables around me are cluttered with laptops and half-finished cups of coffee." Cluttered is our next word, meaning covered in an untidy, disorganized collection of things. Say it. Cluttered. My desk is always cluttered with papers. What do you hear? I can hear the faint hum of conversation, the occasional clink of a spoon against a ceramic cup, and somewhere in the background, quiet jazz is playing. Faint means quiet, barely noticeable, weak in intensity. Say it. Faint. I could hear a faint sound in the distance. And what do you feel, physically or emotionally? I feel oddly calm, almost cocooned, tucked away from the noise and stress of the rest of my day. Cocooned is a beautiful word, meaning wrapped up snugly and protectively, like a caterpillar inside its cocoon, safe from the outside world. Say it. Cocooned. I felt cocooned in my blanket during the storm. Now, here's your practice exercise, and I genuinely want you to do this, not just listen to me describe it. Look around wherever you're sitting right now, and out loud, in English, describe 3 things using your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? And how do you feel physically or emotionally in this exact moment. Try to use at least one of today's words if you can. Pause the video out loud for about 30 seconds. This exercise might feel a little unusual at first, maybe even slightly awkward. Talking to yourself out loud about your surroundings. But this is exactly how you turn English from a subject you study into a language you actually think in, a reflex rather than a translation exercise. The more you practice narrating your own life in English, even in small private moments like this, the faster that reflex builds. Nice work pushing through that. I know sensory description exercises can feel a little unfamiliar if you've never tried them before, but that slight discomfort is actually a really good sign. It means you're stretching into genuinely new territory, not just repeating what's already comfortable. Let's take a short breather here, just a minute to slow down and reset before we move into our next block. Close your eyes for a moment. If you're somewhere safe to do that, take one slow breath in and let it out. Notice how far you've already come today, from a simple greeting all the way through travel, emotions, and sensory language. You're building something real here. One word, one sentence at a time. Okay, let's keep going. Our next block is all about small talk with strangers, a specific skill that even confident English speakers sometimes struggle with because it requires warmth, spontaneity, and the ability to keep a light conversation flowing without it. Feeling forced or awkward. Picture this scene. You're standing in line at a grocery store, and the person ahead of you turns around, noticing the item in your basket. Oh, are those the strawberries from the farmer's market stand outside? I've been eyeing those all week. Eyeing here means looking at something with interest or desire, often something you want but haven't decided to get yet. Say it. Eyeing. I've been eyeing that jacket in the window for weeks. You respond, yes, actually, they're fantastic this time of year. Perfectly ripe, not a single sour one in the batch. Ripe means fully developed and ready to eat, especially fruit. Say it, ripe. These strawberries are perfectly ripe. The stranger continues, that settles it then. I'm grabbing some on my way out. Do you come to this market often? That settles it is a lovely phrase meaning a decision has now been made, resolved, finalized, often somewhat casually and lightheartedly. Say it. That settles it. That settles it. We're going. Let's build this into a longer, flowing small talk exchange, the kind that starts small and gradually deepens. Stranger. Oh, are those the strawberries from the farmer's market stand outside? I've been eyeing those all week. You. Yes, actually, they're fantastic this time of year. Perfectly ripe, not a single sour one in the batch. Stranger. That settles it then. I'm grabbing some on my way out. Do you come to this market often? You. Pretty regularly, actually. Almost every Saturday. It's become a bit of a ritual for me at this point. Stranger. That's lovely. I just moved to the neighborhood, so I'm still figuring out where everything is. You, oh, welcome to the area? Honestly, this market is one of the best kept secrets around here. You're going to love it. Let's take two more phrases. A bit of a ritual describes a small, comforting habit you do regularly, almost ceremonially, giving it personal meaning beyond just routine. Say it. A bit of a ritual. This coffee shop has become a bit of a ritual for me. A best-kept secret describes something wonderful that not many people know about yet, still relatively hidden or undiscovered. Say it. Best-kept secret. This little restaurant is a real best-kept secret. Now, let's practice the switch roles technique one more time in this block. I'll read the stranger's opening line about the strawberries, and you respond as yourself, out loud, keeping the small talk flowing naturally for at least 2 full sentences. Oh, are those the strawberries from the farmer's market stand outside? I've been eyeing those all week. Pause now and give your response before I share the sample. Here's a sample. They really are fantastic this time of year. Perfectly ripe, too. Honestly, you should grab some before they sell out. This stand tends to be a best-kept secret. That's getting less secret by the week. That kind of spontaneous, flowing, small talk is genuinely one of the hardest things to do in a second language because it requires thinking on your feet rather than following a memorized script. But notice what just happened. You had real vocabulary ready, real phrases loaded and available, and that preparation is exactly what makes spontaneous conversation actually possible. Confidence in small talk doesn't come from being naturally witty. It comes from having enough useful language internalized that your brain can reach for it instantly without translating then. First, let's move now into a proper shadowing segment. Because I promised you this earlier, and it's genuinely one of the most powerful listening and speaking techniques available to you, yet most learners have never been taught to do it correctly. Here's what shadowing actually means, and it's different from simple repetition. Si bis, be. Si, be, is. When I say, repeat after me, I say a sentence. Then I pause, and then you say it separately, after I've finished. That's useful, but it's not shadowing. True shadowing means you listen and speak at almost the exact same time, echoing me just a half second behind, like a shadow following a person's movement, hence the name. You're not waiting for me to finish. You're trailing right behind my voice, matching my rhythm, my intonation, my pace, almost simultaneously. This technique is incredibly effective because it forces your mouth, your ear, and your brain to work together in real time, exactly the way they need to during an actual live conversation, rather than in the comfortable, delayed rhythm of typical practice exercises. Let's try it together now. I'm going to read a short passage at a natural, moderate pace, and I want you to start speaking just a half second behind me, trailing my voice as closely as you can, not waiting for pauses. Here we go. I've been really swamped this week, but I'm hanging in there. Honestly, I think once I get through Friday, things should finally calm down a bit, and I'm genuinely looking forward to that. Try that again with me, and this time, really push yourself to stay close behind my voice rather than falling silent and waiting. I've been really swamped this week, but I'm hanging in there. Honestly, I think once I get through Friday, things should finally calm down a bit, and I'm genuinely looking forward to that. This might feel uncomfortable the first few times you try it, and that's completely normal. Almost everyone stumbles a bit at first. But stick with it, because shadowing builds a kind of fluency muscle memory that passive listening simply cannot replicate. The goal isn't perfect accuracy on your first attempt. The goal is training your mouth to move at native speed, your brain adjusting to real-time processing rather than the slow, careful, translated processing. Most learners default to, let's do one more shadowing round, slightly longer this time, with a bit more emotional range in the delivery, because shadowing works best when you're also mimicking intonation, not just words. That's incredible. You must be over the moon. Honestly, I'm so happy for you. You've worked so hard for this, and it's finally paying off. Try shadowing that with me again, matching not just the words, but the excitement and rising intonation in my voice. That's incredible. You must be over the moon. Honestly, I'm so happy for you. You've worked so hard for this, and it's finally paying off. Nice work. I know that takes real focus, and if you found it challenging, that's genuinely a good sign. It means you're pushing into an area that's going to pay off enormously the more you practice it. Now let's talk about the other essential listening I promised earlier. Catching the gist of fast speech rather than needing to understand every single word. This is honestly one of the biggest mental shifts that separates intermediate learners from advanced ones. Intermediate learners often panic. The moment they miss a single word in a conversation, their brain gets stuck, trying to rewind and figure out what they missed. And in doing so, they miss the next 3 sentences entirely because they weren't listening. Advanced speakers do something completely different. They let go of the missed word, stay relaxed, and focus entirely on catching the overall meaning, the gist, using natural filler responses to stay engaged in the conversation even when they didn't catch every detail. Here's how that actually sounds in practice. Imagine someone speaking to you quickly and you catch most of it, but genuinely miss a phrase or two. They say, so basically what happened was the whole system just crashed right in the middle of the presentation, and IT couldn't get it back up for like 40 minutes, so we just had to wing it with a whiteboard. Maybe you didn't catch wing it clearly or missed exactly what IT refers to. A confident advanced speaker doesn't stop the conversation and ask for a full repeat. Instead, they respond naturally with something like, "Oh no, that sounds stressful." I see. So you just had to improvise? Notice the phrase, I see. This is a wonderful natural filler that signals you're following along, even if you're piecing together the meaning rather than catching every single word. Say it. I see. I see. That makes sense. That makes sense is another excellent natural response, showing understanding and engagement without needing every detail spelled out. Say it. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. And right, used on its own, with a slight downward confirming tone, is one of the most common natural fillers in English, signaling agreement or acknowledgement while someone continues speaking. Say it. Right, used like this. So we had to reschedule the whole thing. Right, that makes sense. The key skill here is training yourself to stay calm and keep listening even when you miss something, rather than freezing up. Your brain, given enough context, is remarkably good at filling in gaps, but only if you stay relaxed enough to keep processing the sentences that follow instead of getting stuck mentally replaying the part you missed. Let's practice this together with a quick exercise. I'm going to read a fairly fast, casual sentence, and I don't want you to try to catch every single word. Instead, just listen for the overall meaning and respond naturally with I see, right, or that makes sense. Whichever fits. Here it is, spoken at a natural, quick pace. Yeah, so apparently the flight got delayed because of some mechanical issue, and now we're not landing till like midnight instead of 8, which honestly kind of throws off our whole plan for tomorrow. Pause now and respond out loud with a natural filler phrase based on the general gist of what you heard, not a word-for-word translation. Great work. That relaxed, gist-based listening is exactly the mental shift that will make real conversations, mostings feel less exhausting and far more natural. Natural for you going forward. We've covered an enormous amount of ground so far today. Greetings, work vocabulary, emotional expression, invitations, travel English, sensory description, small talk with strangers, and now real shadowing and fast listening practice. In our next and final part, we're going to cover a few more essential situational blocks. Move into your sensory self-practice exercise, using everything we've learned, and then close out with a full fluency round where we race back through today's vocabulary at speed, followed by your specific call to action. Disagreement. Type the number 1 whenever you're ready, and we'll finish this strong together. Let's keep the momentum going with 2 more essential situational blocks before we move into your fluency round, because I want this vocabulary to cover the full range of what a real week actually looks like, not just the pleasant, easy conversations. Let's talk about disagreeing politely, because this is genuinely one of the hardest social skills to pull off in a second language. Thence, too many learners either avoid disagreement entirely, nodding along even when they don't agree, or they disagree, so bluntly it comes across as harsh. Advanced English speakers know how to push back on an idea while still sounding warm, respectful, and easy to work with. Picture this scene. You're in a group chat with friends planning a weekend trip, and someone suggests a destination you're not thrilled about. Friend: I really think we should just do the mountain cabin again this year. It worked so well last time. You want to disagree, but gently. Here's how a fluent speaker handles it. I hear where you're coming from, but honestly, I was kind of hoping we'd switch things up this time and try somewhere new. I hear where you're coming from is a wonderful opener for disagreement because it validates the other person's perspective before you introduce your own. It says, I understand your reasoning. I'm not dismissing you. But here's another angle. Say it. I hear where you're coming from. I hear where you're coming from, but I see it a bit differently. Switch things up means to change or vary something that's become routine or predictable. Say it. Switch things up. Let's switch things up this year. Let's build the full exchange, going several rounds. Deep. Friend: I really think we should just do the mountain cabin again this year. It worked so well last time. You: I hear where you're coming from, but honestly, I was kind of hoping we'd switch things up this time and try somewhere new. Friend: Fair point. I guess we have gone there 3 years running. What did you have in mind? You: I was actually looking at that coastal town everyone's been talking about. It might be a nice change of pace. Friend: Okay, I'm intrigued. Send me some options, and I'll run it by the rest of the group. You: Will do. I don't want to force it if everyone's attached to the cabin, but it's worth putting on the table. 2 more phrases from that exchange are worth pulling out. A change of pace means something different from your usual routine, refreshing simply because it's not the same as. Always. Say it. A change of pace. This trip will be a nice change of pace. Put it on the table means to formally suggest an idea for consideration, to bring it into an open discussion. Say it. Put it on the table. I just wanted to put the idea on the table. Now, let's practice switching roles once more. I'll read the friend's initial suggestion, and I want you to disagree politely, out loud, using at least one phrase from this block. I really think we should just do the mountain cabin again this year. It worked so well last time. Pause now and respond before I give you a sample. Here's a sample response. I hear where you're coming from. It really did work well, but I was kind of hoping we could switch things up and try a change of pace this year. Just to see something new. Notice how that entire response manages to disagree completely, while sounding warm, collaborative, and easy to work with. That's the real skill here, and it's genuinely one of the markers of an advanced socially fluent speaker. Let's move now into our next situational block, describing personality and character, because this comes up constantly in conversations about coworkers, friends, family, even people you've just met, and beginner. English tends to flatten every description into nice or not nice, which is a huge missed opportunity. Picture a conversation where a friend is describing a new coworker. So what's the new guy on your team like? Honestly, he's incredibly meticulous, almost to a fault. He double checks everything, which is great for accuracy, but it does slow things down sometimes. Meticulous means being extremely careful and precise about details, paying very close attention to getting everything exactly right. Say it. Meticulous. She's incredibly meticulous with her work. To a fault is a lovely phrase meaning to an excessive degree, so much so that a positive trait almost becomes a slight negative. Say it. To a fault. He's generous to a fault. The conversation continues. That sounds like it could be frustrating, but I guess it's better than someone careless. On the flip side, he's also incredibly approachable. You can ask him anything, and he never makes you feel silly for asking. Approachable means easy to talk to, friendly and welcoming, not intimidating. Say it. Approachable. She's really approachable. You can ask her anything. Let's build a longer character description. Dialogue here. The kind you might genuinely have while catching up with a friend about people in your life. Friend. So what's the new guy on your team like? You, honestly. He's incredibly meticulous, almost to a fault. He double checks everything, which is great for accuracy, but it does slow things down sometimes. Friend. That sounds like it could be frustrating, but I guess it's better than someone careless. You. Exactly. And on the flip side, he's also incredibly approachable. You can ask him anything, and he never makes you feel silly for asking. Friend. That's a good balance to have on a team, honestly. You? It really is. He's also surprisingly witty once you get to know him. He just doesn't show that side right away. Witty means cleverly humorous, quick, with clever, amusing remarks. Say it. Witty. He's incredibly witty once he warms up. Let's add 2 more essential personality words before moving on. Down to earth describes someone who is genuinely humble and practical, not pretentious despite their success or status. Say it. Down to earth. She's incredibly down to earth for someone so successful. Reserved. Describes someone who is quiet, keeps their thoughts and feelings private, not quick to share openly, though not necessarily unfriendly. Say it. Reserved. He seems a bit reserved at first, but he opens up once he trusts you. Let's do one more switch roles moment here. I'll ask you the question, and you describe someone in your own life out loud using at least 2 personality words from today's session. So, what's someone close to you like, personality-wise? Pause now and describe someone out loud in English for about 30 seconds. That kind of spontaneous, personal description generated on the spot rather than memorized is exactly the skill that separates someone who has studied English from someone who genuinely lives in it. Now, let's move into your sensory self-practice exercise, the one I promised you earlier, and this time we're going to combine it directly with the vocabulary from throughout today's entire session. Entire sen. not just the sensory words from earlier. Here's what I want you to do. Wherever you're sitting right now, take a slow look around you. I want you to describe your surroundings out loud in English, but this time weave in at least 3 or 4 words we've learned today, not just sensory vocabulary. Maybe your desk is cluttered. Maybe the light coming through your window feels cocooning. Maybe you're feeling a little swamped by everything on your plate today, or maybe, honestly, you're feeling elated because you just got through this entire session. Let me model this for you. First, so you have a clear example to follow. Right now, I'm sitting at my desk, and it's honestly a bit cluttered. Papers everywhere. My coffee cup from this morning still sitting here. The light outside is fading, that soft golden hour glow, and it makes the whole room feel warm and cocooned. Emotionally, I feel pretty elated, actually, because we've covered so much ground today. And even though I've been a little swamped this week with other projects, this session genuinely feels like a change of pace. A change of pace. Notice how naturally those vocabulary words slot into a genuine description of a real moment. Not forced or artificial sounding at all. That's the entire goal of learning vocabulary in context, rather than as an isolated list. The words become tools you reach for automatically, because they're already tied to real feelings and real scenes in your memory. Now it's your turn. Pause the video, look around you, and speak out loud in English for about a minute, describing your surroundings and how you feel right now, weaving in as many of today's words as you naturally can. Don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on speaking continuously without stopping to translate. Genuinely well done if you did that. Eek. I know talking to yourself out loud can feel strange at first, but this exact practice, narrating your own life and surroundings in English, is one of the single most effective habits you can build outside of formal study time. Do this for even 2 minutes a day, in the kitchen, on your commute, before bed, and within a month, you'll notice English thoughts arriving in your head far more naturally, without that constant translation step slowing you down. All right, we've built an enormous amount today, and now it's time for our fluency round, where we're going to move quickly back through the vocabulary from this entire session, one after another, without long pauses, the way a real conversation moves. This is your chance to prove to yourself just how much you've actually absorbed. Don't worry about getting every single one perfect. Just keep your mouth moving and stay with me. Bump into. Swamped. Hanging in there. How have things been treating you? Fell through. Made a compelling case. Punctual. The elephant in the room. Spreading ourselves too thin. Burn out. Scale back. Get on board. Touch base. Circle back on the same page. Elated, over the moon. Nothing left in the tank. Vent. Bombed. Hear me out. Count me in. Rain check. Point you in the right direction. Turned around. Dreading. Get your bearings. Happy to accommodate. Don't hesitate to reach out. Settling in. Cluttered. Faint. cocooned, eyeing, ripe. That settles it. A bit of a ritual, a best-kept secret. I hear where you're coming from. Switch things up. A change of pace. Put it on the table. Meticulous. To a fault. Approachable. Witty. Down to earth. Reserved. I see. That makes sense. Right. Nice work. Seriously. If you kept your voice moving through that entire list, even a little roughly in places, that's real evidence of progress. And it's exactly the kind of rapid recall practice that builds lasting fluency rather than fragile, short-term memorization. Here's your call to action for today, and I want you to actually do this one. Not just nod along and close the tab. Pick any 3 words from today's list, the ones that genuinely stuck with you the most, and write 1 sentence for each in the comments below, using your own real life as the example. Not a textbook sentence, a genuinely true one. Maybe you were actually swamped this week. Maybe something in your life recently fell through. Maybe you're honestly feeling a bit elated right now because you just finished this entire session. Write it down, comment it, and if you can, come back tomorrow and read through a few other people's comments too, because seeing these words used in other people's real lives reinforces them even further in your own memory. Before we wrap up completely, I want to say something genuine to you. Building real fluency isn't about memorizing endless lists of words and hoping something sticks. It's about attaching language to your actual life, your actual feelings, your actual conversations, the way we've been doing together this entire session. Every word you practiced out loud today, every dialogue you spoke through, every moment you paused and answered, honestly, instead of staying silent. That's the real work of fluency happening. Right here, right now, not someday in the future when you feel ready. If today's session helped you, do me a favor and subscribe to Natural Word English and hit the bell so you catch our next masterclass the moment it goes live. And if you genuinely want to lock this vocabulary in for good, come back and rewatch this session once more in a few days, out loud again, the same way. Repetition spaced out over time is exactly what turns today's new words into tomorrow's automatic, natural speech. Thank you for spending this time with me today, genuinely. I know sitting through a session like this, speaking out loud, pausing, practicing, takes real commitment. And the fact that you stayed with me this far says a lot about how seriously you're taking your own progress.
Keep going.
Keep speaking out loud, even when no one's listening. That's exactly how fluency gets built, one honest sentence at a time. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.